Good afternoon, friends. This is Carol Jeunnette, interim pastor at Lord of Life Lutheran in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I'm running a little bit late today. Sorry about that. I hope you're doing well and experiencing some peace during these challenging times. Now, this piece is just kind of an announcement for the congregation, and you'll hear it in other places as well, but I thought I'd slip it in here. In order to help stay connected, we are having a coffee connection Zoom meeting on Sunday mornings at 10:30. Each week we'll send the link in the Wednesday email and again in the email that announces the posting of our worship service. This weekend our gospel lesson is Luke's story of the followers of Jesus on the road to Emmaus and how it was during their meal together that the disciples' eyes were opened to recognize Jesus. So this Sunday morning, in addition to your cup of coffee, tea, or hot chocolate, or whatever is your delight, please have something more with you to help us mark the meals that we share with Jesus as our guest. So, like I said, I'm a little bit slow today. In the first draft of my contemplation for today, I used the 3-hour council meeting from last night as my excuse for not having too much to say. And then I kind of got going. It just took me a long time. And that's what happens with preachers sometimes. Anyway, here goes. The calendar and the news reminded me that today is Earth Day, and it's actually the 50th anniversary, well, not exact, but the 50th anniversary of the first celebration of Earth Day. And I hate to admit it, but I remember that first one. Now, something we've been hearing in the last week or two, and something that's being emphasized in the news today, is that in a lot of places, a major effect of the reduced traffic that is related to the stay-at-home orders is that the air is cleaner. Now, here in southeastern Wisconsin, I don't think air quality is a major topic of conversation. But just because we don't have a problem here doesn't mean it isn't a serious problem in other parts of the nation and in the world. We were in New Delhi, India, maybe about a decade ago. And there, people wear masks to protect their lungs from the smog. And there are days when you can't see a block down the road. It's just like a thick fog. In the current pictures out of New Delhi, you can actually see the buildings and see their beauty and see the streets. I wonder how long it's going to look like that when things reopen. So hold that thought for a minute. At our council meeting last night, we began to do a little bit of thinking about what reopening the church might look like. Now, there are lots of considerations, of course, and we will follow the guidelines from the state. But the consensus among council members is that things, even at church, may look different, AC, after coronavirus, than BC, before the coronavirus. This is a question that I have in all of this. Are there things that we're learning or have learned during this challenge that has changed our lives so much? Are there things that we're learning that are, as I like to say, on the side of life, that we need to be intentional about continuing after the coronavirus? So think about air pollution and care of creation. We've learned that the air does seem to clear nicely when there's less exhaust pouring into the atmosphere. That, to me, is life-giving. So maybe discussions about reopening should consider how we might structure our work and commuting and manufacturing to keep the air cleaner. Think about the congregation for a moment. During the time we've been unable to meet and worship together in our space, what have we done that we don't do normally, but that is on the side of life? How might we continue to do that? Or do a bit of reshaping of what it means to be church to include these things? You know, the question isn't just the nation or the world or the congregation. It comes down as well to each family, to each individual. What have we done or not done during the time of the coronavirus that is life-giving to us individually, to our families, to our friends, to our neighbors, to our community? How do we make those things part of our lives AC after coronavirus? Now, hang in there with me while I shift just a little bit. I promise it'll come together. There are some people who are very confident in their descriptions of God. They know exactly what God is like and exactly what God requires. I have to admit that after being a pastor for over 30 years, I probably know and am sure about fewer things about God. But the one basic thing that I am sure of is that God is on the side of life, in the broadest sense, for all of creation. And the other thing I'm pretty sure of is that God draws life out of death. And I think we are called to be part of that. I'm wondering, what do you see going on now that perhaps was not going on BC, before coronavirus, that is giving life to you and to others and to our creation? How can we continue that? Really, I'm not just putting this out as a rhetorical question. Please share with me what you see, what you have experienced, what you're thinking that is on the side of life. People of God, this is what we are called to be about, now and in the time after coronavirus. I know this. Love is God and grace. God is present in the midst of this, and God draws out new life. Look for it, my friends.